Hi, welcome. This is another episode of the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. My name is Nathan Kwa. Many thanks for joining us. It's been a very interesting week of AFCON football. All the groups are playing. The second round of the group games has started, and we have exciting stuff to share with you. Remember, this is the show that guides you through the competition. Great reviews, wonderful previews, in-depth analysis, the touch screen, and all of that happening between now and the next hour. You can send in your thoughts, comments, questions, messages, anything you want to share with us on the number 0550-585832, 0550-585832, hashtag AFCON on Citi, hashtag Citi Sports to try and go through as many of the comments as possible. My name is Nathan Kwa. Once again, many thanks for joining us. We'll take a very, very snappy break. When we come back, I introduce my wingmen and we start rolling. This is the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV.
Feel the heat, feel the kick, feel the power, feel the punch, feel the heat. Feel the kick, feel the power, feel the punch, feel the heat, feel the kick, feel the power. Feel the heat, feel the kick, feel the power, feel the punch, feel the heat, feel the kick, feel the power, feel the punch, feel the heat, feel the kick.
All right, welcome back. This is the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. Let me introduce the guys. They're always around me. Ever since the show started, they are still here. They'll be here with me until the very end of the show. Fente Tahiru and Daniel Cranting, both clearly showing their patriotic sides, wearing the yellow Black Stars jersey. How are you guys doing?
That's right. You didn't get the memo.
Yeah, clearly
We
I
did.
I did.
Yes.
Daniel, nice to have you around. Susu Graham also didn't get the memo, but it doesn't matter.
He got the memo.
It's pictures.
He's wearing black and
white.
white inside.
It's wearing black and white inside.
Yeah.
How is that patriotic?
Ghana wears black and white.
I'm surprised. I don't know.
These are colours.
Maybe that now
black
viewers
and
can
white.
have a look at Susu Graham and what he's wearing.
This is not the black star and the white jersey. You can see it. We're supporting
Black star and the
Ghana.
white jersey. I'm in all white. I can even say I'm even more patriotic. This was what we were wearing in the 50s and 60s.
It's what we are wearing now.
All white. So you see. I got the memo. I got the super memo.
See, he has managed to wiggle himself back into the crowd.
I won't take it.
All right, let's have a look at the results from the games that were played on Thursday. There you have it. Cameroon. So far, they are the team with the most prolific forward line, I believe. They've got 6 goals so far. They beat Ethiopia by 4 goals to 1. What a game it was. And it was Cape Verde 0, Burkina Faso 1. So Burkina Faso getting themselves points on the board. The Ethiopians are yet to get points on the board. It doesn't mean they are out. Remember, they could still make it depending on what happens in their last group encounter. So yesterday we had only 2 games. All the matches were played in Yaoundé at the Stade d'Olembe. And guys, what a start it was. It was a chaotic beginning. The Ethiopians upsetting the apple cart. They took the lead, but eventually it didn't come to anything.
Dikele Bauer, and it was a great finish. The build-up was sweet. It was cohesive, and the finish, he just didn't need to do much. He just needed to direct it on target, and he did. And Onana stood no chance. So, everybody was surprised that Ethiopia scored. In fact, not just the fact that they scored that early. I think the surprise was that they scored at all because they're a team that doesn't score as often. I think this is what you talk about when you talk about planning and preparing. Because they know the Ethiopians are short. They lift the ball over their heads. There's only one winner of that header. And it can be rising above everybody else, knocking it into the back of the net. He was almost free, really. And there was nothing anyone could do about that. But even from that point on, for the rest of the first half, it looked like Ethiopia were in to give them a fight. But again, another header. So you talk about a team preparing and knowing the weakness of their opposition and taking full advantage. They kept getting the balls into the dangerous areas. And there is no way any of these Ethiopian players is winning a header over Abubakar or Ekambi. And, I couldn't believe it that the Ethiopians kept allowing the crosses to come in. And that was how they won. Every single goal. Look at that one. Another cross into the middle, bang, back of the net. All the goals are so similar. And yet the Ethiopians did absolutely nothing about it. So maybe for the two headers they were quite helpless, but in this case, the best thing to do is to try and prevent the cross from coming in, because it almost looked like every time a cross comes in, he just cuts through like a knife through butter. And look at that, brilliant! The chop back, and then the finish. The confidence is very high among this Cameroonian team. I can't believe it. He had a day to remember. So did Abubakar. That was screaming for a hat trick. He probably could have had it, just like in the first game. And with 4 goals already, he looks like he's a clear favorite to be AFCON top scorer. There have been AFCON tournaments where the top scorer has scored 3 goals. Yeah. A very good example was 2015. Andre Ayew was the top scorer at that tournament.
3 goals.
He scored 3 goals. So with 4 goals already in 2 matches, I think we could be in for some sort of record from Abubakar, depending on how far Cameroon go. Okay. He looks like he's not going to stop scoring at anytime soon.
Dana, we expected the games to open up.
Yeah.
I felt that the first round, in the first round, teams were cautious. But did you think that it would open up like this to the extent where we would have 5 goals in a game and the Ethiopians were there for the taking?
I predicted 3-0 yesterday.
Okay.
I knew Cameroon will have a very comfortable victory because of the way Ethiopia plays. And this is what I don't like about this modern day football. You are going into a game against the host nation who are technically better than you, physically better than you. But then you are insistent on playing open, nice football. You're always obviously going to get battered. And I was a bit surprised they were shocked when the goals were going in the second half. If you look at the defending, you see, it's not like the goals were coming off counter-attacking situations. Cameroon were building from the back, and then one through ball into the Ethiopian area. And you have the fullback so high up, and it's 3 against 2, it's 4 against 2. So my point is, what kind of coaching is going into this? What sort of preparation did you have? Or did you you thought you were going to play against yourselves and you just came in and you were, it's at this level, they should have been punished even more. I really wanted 7-1, 8-1. Wow. Yeah, so that in the last game, they will take things a bit more seriously. You cannot win a game if your defense is this bad.
But did you not see the Ethiopians play like this when Ghana took them on in the World Cup?
They lost. So they still lost. You see, that's the thing. You can play well. Are you playing for the plaudits that you played well? You are playing to get the result.
But they drew 1-1 with Ghana.
They drew 1-1, but then they lost in Ghana.
Yes,
they lost home and away against South Africa.
I think you were more about the game in South Africa in particular. Yes. Here they didn't play as well as they did.
So if you go back in your last 10 games and you pick one game where you drew, and that is good.
Okay.
No.
So you felt they should have been smarter.
Yeah. You see, look at how Sierra Leone went into that game against Algeria. First half, they dominated in terms of chances. Second half, they knew Algeria will come back into the game. So what did they do? They made it very difficult for them to break them down. You see, if you are going to beat me, then you are going to have to work for it. It shouldn't be this easy. 4 against every single through ball that the defenders, or was it Zambo and Gisa, hits into the Ethiopian half. Then it's 4 against 2, or it's 3 against 2. And now the person with the ball he's totally spoiled for choice. He doesn't even know who to give the ball to. This is amateur.
All right, so I don't know if you picked up anything from that encounter.
Well, I think he's absolutely right about their defensive organization. I noticed the same thing too. Like, they are 4 backs bomb forward, and there was a lot of space on their flanks, which led to the crosses like Fenty was talking about. And Abubakar took advantage. And I remember I think just yesterday, I was talking about how his open play XG has been pretty low and that kind of stuff. So I think he's boosted that up with those 2 open play goals. And I think he's had a good, like Fentio said, a very good tournament. 4 goals in the AFCON. He's very likely to be one of the top 3 scorers. But just for the record in an AFCON is 9 goals. That was in 1974. So he still has a bit of a way to go, but it remains to be seen how it is. But let me just talk about the game overall. I think it was a fairly close game when you look at the way that Ethiopia created chances and they wasted them, which I will get to later. But you look at the XG, 2.3 for Cameroon, which was identical to their last game. So they are creating chances. They are the attacking team of the tournament, and they've showed it today. Ethiopia 1.6, so they created a decent amount of chances. They could have had more. They missed a lot of good chances. Their decision making the final third, very poor. But and they were naive on top, so they made it easy for Cameroon on the counter, and it was. But passing in this game has been some of the best you've seen in the tournament. If you see, look at these two teams, 86 and 85. Wow. Well, basically 87 and 86 when you look at the pass accuracy. These are like, they were keeping the ball, or they put the ball on the ground, they passed it around, they moved it nicely. And it was great to watch. I think a lot of times we criticize African teams of wanting to hoof the ball, but they played nice possession football. But as you can see, they didn't take advantage of the times they had the ball, because they had the same shot accuracy of about 41% when you look at it. Different shots on target because Cameroon took more shots, but at the end of the day, Cameroon were better finishers with those shots on target. They used them better finishing, like we said. And then when you look at the penalty area entries, almost similar possession, but you enter the penalty area just about half the time. And then, and there was a bit of a mistake on the graph, but it's passes played, not passes played long. Okay. So if you look, Ethiopia had only 7 more passes than Cameroon. So this was, in terms of possession, a very equal game. So what stood out was the finishing.
The finishing. Interesting stuff there. And I've watched that game. I've seen the highlights a couple of times. I was watching the first half again earlier today. I think it's quite clear that there's something about Ethiopian football. They are not afraid. 2, they want to play, but it looks like they are really lacking this.
Nathan, you see, my problem is with Susu's last statement. And not Susu, his last statement. Because I promise you, that is what the Ethiopian coach will be telling his players.
That they played well.
We matched them, but the problem is finishing. In 100 years, Cameroon are always going to have better finishers than you. It's fact. When you go into a game, I don't see why a lot of modern day coaches only think offensive. If you are scoring goals and you are leaking at the back, you are never going to win anything. Look at Liverpool under Brendan Rodgers. You can't be playing 3-2, 4-2, 6-2, 6-5. No! Keep it tight at the back. You are playing Cameroon, the host nation, for God's sake, in a game where, second game of the competition, where their fans expect them to live up to expectations, bounce back and get a comfortable victory. At 1-1 at the end of the first half, you are not necessarily lucky, but you are in a very good place. Keep it compact at the back. We've seen that when you have the ball in possession, you can link up play and get goals. But let the defense be there. I'm not saying sit back and park the bus. But some level of organization.
It could just be that maybe the Ethiopians don't know how to do this. For them, it's one extreme or the other.
Then they should go home.
I think, like I said, the finishing problem, like Daniel was right, they should have been more, smart about it. But I just want to show a certain graphic I just got here about their shot map. And just give you an indicator of what I mean by the finishing. So you can see the red circles being the goal. So this header, you see it's very small right here, that just circle. That's Abubakar's header, because headers are very hard chances to take. And look at the Ethiopians. Look at these 2 circles here. Very similar size, but they only scored 1. And look at this one here. Just another decent sized circle which they missed. So if they are taking these chances, we would have been talking about a different game. But Daniel's right. Look at this 2 circles here. Look. This.
They are quite prominent.
This, and this. They were also giving up too many chances. I think that was the problem. So when you are giving up chances like that, you make it easy despite what you do. So I think Daniel is right on that point, that even if you create good chances, you wasted it when you give away the good chances. Because let's grant them the header. That is a small chance. Like, look at how small that circle is. That it was just technical ability, being better than them. But then you look at these other 3 so close to the goal. There was no reason to give those away. And that's where they failed. So I think it's a very important point. I'm not as strong on it about, they didn't. I think for a small team like Ethiopia, in terms of their football pedigree, it's good to have these games where you play well. Then you should also think about getting better in the other aspects.
I think over the years with Ethiopian football, what has happened is that I think there's been a bit more focus on style than results. And they think that when they build a style, then they can start to incorporate winning into that style. And I think if you look at it from the last 10 years maybe, the style has been very, very similar, where they have focused on patient build-up from the back, nice intricate passing, and really pleasing football to the eye. But, you play for results. There has to be a point where you start to get the results. We saw the stat from yesterday that they haven't beaten a team that's ranked above them in more than 50 years.
Clearly, that's
just ridiculous, because Ethiopian football, there are a lot of other West African footballers that go to Ethiopia to play professional football.
Yes, they do.
We have seen some of their clubs do very well in CAF competitions. How is it not possible to try and incorporate that sort of winning mentality into the national team as well? Because the fans really don't care about the how beautiful the football is. Right now, they want results. And you've been building that sort of style for 10 years, and you still haven't incorporated winning into it. That is something fundamentally wrong.
Okay.
And I think that they need to get back to the drawing board and see how to find a proper balance between style and winning.
Okay.
They don't have a Pep Guardiola, and they don't have the talent that he has at Manchester City, but they can find a mix that works. This is African football. Everybody's capable of winning.
All right, we'll see how the Ethiopians rebuild from this. What I will say, though, is that they need to find some proper finishes. That's really what I will say. I think I love the football. You know, of course, when my team plays against them, I'd love to score as many. But let's move it on. The other game took us back to type. 1-0 in the AFCON. It was Burkina Faso winning that game by 1-0. Very interesting goal. We've seen all kinds of goals, but rarely have we seen a diving chested goal. just tells you how easy it was. I'm sure he was deciding, should I head it, kick it, or use my chest? Well, he decided to use his chest there. Thoughts on this encounter? John, I thought even though it was 1-0, I thought the game had some life to it. It was one of the very interesting 1-0s we've seen in the competition.
Yeah, you're right. It had life, and we predicted that yesterday. For Cape Verde, they already had 3 points heading into this one. Burkina Faso had to win this to give them a chance of qualifying. And I was particularly impressed with the way Burkina Faso approached the game. They were not afraid to lose.
But this was a chance.
This was a
Tavares should have finished.
Golden opportunity. And of course, these things don't come often. When you get them, you have to score and put pressure on your opposition. But for Burkina Faso, I was proud of their approach. I liked it. It was not gung-ho. It was very balanced, but also very attacking. They had a lot of intent in it, and this is a sweet finish there. And I'm actually happy they won, because now this group is blown wide open. They have 3 points, and Cape Verde have 3 points. Cameroon have 6 points. And I'm happy because Burkina Faso get to play Ethiopia, who open up and probably get another 4 in the last game. So they are almost there. And they've balanced out the goal difference.
Yeah.
And
now Cape Verde
have got to get something out of that last game against Cameroon. Maybe just a point for them to be sure that they can qualify as one of the best third place finishers. But this was an impressive display from Burkina Faso.
Fancy, your thoughts that the Burkinabes, without Bertrand Traoré, managed to find something?
Yeah, and it was a very important victory for them. They played well in the first half, probably deserved their lead, I think, because even very early on in the game, Vozinha made some really good saves for Cape Verde. But the second half, I thought Cape Verde, and that is Gustavo Sangare there, one of my favorite players. He plays like, somebody said he plays like Sulemontari in his heydays, you know. In the second half, Gary Rodriguez in particular had some really good chances in the second half for Cape Verde, but it was too little too late. And it's now set up what I believe would be a fascinating finish to Group A, in who joins the host nation, Cameroon, to the round of 16. Because as it stands now, all what is it called? Burkina Faso have 3 points now. So do Cape Verde themselves, going into the last group game, and only one of them can join Cameroon into the last 16, or maybe 2 of them can join Cameroon in the last 16, depending on what the results are.
Burkina Faso get a heavy scoreline. Should they get something good out of that?
They don't even need a heavy scoreline. So long as Burkina Faso beat Ethiopia, they are through with 6 points.
6 points.
I think the most important game now is what Cape Verde can do with that game against Cameroon, which potentially could be a game where Cameroon would like to try newer players and try to see what happens. So there is an opportunity there. But also at the same time, with Abubakar chasing top scorer and with Cameroon playing at home, you don't expect them to field a weaker team at all. I think Cameroon will go out there trying to be as competitive as possible. So I really can't wait for the last round of matches in that group. It looks poised to be tantalizing in the end.
Okay, all right. We'll see how that goes. Group A set up nicely. Cameroon on 6, Burkina Faso on 3, Cape Verde on 3, Ethiopia on 0. Cape Verde will take on Cameroon in their final group game, while Burkina Faso face Ethiopia. Interesting stuff there.
Imagine Ethiopia win and Cameroon beat Cape Verde.
Let's keep it as an imagination.
We should keep it as an imagination, right? Okay.
Because then suddenly you have three teams all on 3 points.
Three teams on 3 points.
Yes, and now we have to pick up calculators to
then
see
we do
who
mathematics.
joins Cameroon.
Okay. All right, let's go through some of the messages.
Yeah.
I think they'll goal difference first,
It's
and then
goal
they'll work
difference
their way
first.
out of that. Tofik from Ketikrachi says, "Good afternoon. I think the problem with the Black Stars has to do with the defensive style of play. We don't have the quality to sit back and soak the pressure and play on the counter. We should go back to our usual 4-4-2 and open up." Okay. Courage Cooper, who's watching us from Ho, says Ghana is going to win by 1-0. All right, we'll see how it goes. Okay, we'll take a very, very short break. More of your messages are welcome on the number, though, 0550-585832. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we look ahead to the games that will be lined up today, or that have been lined up for today, including that important game between Ghana and Gabon later tonight at 7 p.m. This is the AFCON Daily Show. Be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. This is the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. My name is Nathan Carfento, Tahiru, Daniel Cranting, and Susu Graham are my wingmen. Alrighty, let's have a look at the fixtures that will be taking place today. 1 p.m. Senegal, Guinea. 4 p.m. Malawi versus Zimbabwe. All that is in Group B. And then you've got Group C. Morocco taking on Comoros, and Gabon taking on Ghana at 7 p.m. The Morocco game is at 4. Ghana's game with Gabon is at 7 p.m. And that's where we switch our attention to now. Ghana versus Gabon. The Black Stars need to win to stay in the competition, or at least to give themselves a chance of making the round of 16. The Gabonese are hoping to pick up 3 points to seal their place in the round of 16. Interesting stuff there. Susu, what do the numbers say in terms of what's been happening, what has happened previously, head-to-head, all of that between these two teams?
We'll start with the head-to-head. We have a pretty impressive record against Gabon. We've won 5 of our 9 games. They've beaten us 3 times. But the 2 games highlighted, they are the only games we played in a AFCON context, in the sense that these were AFCON qualifiers in 1989, and they beat us home and away.
Okay.
Since then, they've won only 1 game, which was a World Cup qualifier in 2008. So, apart from that, they've not troubled us much. And these were the first 2 meetings between the countries, actually. So, first and second, they won. And since then, it's been a bit of a drought. So, recent history shows we are the more capable team. But our last competitive game was, again, the return leg in 2008, which we won. So, it doesn't say much about what we've played in recent times. But we might have that psychological edge, given the fact they've not beaten us much. Okay.
All right. Interesting stuff there. Fent, now let's get into what has been said. We've heard Milovan Rajevac talking about the team being well prepared. It doesn't look like Mohamed Kudus is going to play this game. I wonder if he's even in camp. There are questions over Andre Ayew. I've heard Richmond Boakye Adam also speak. Your thoughts on Ghana's preps for this game? It's a very important game, and we've seen Tony Bafo's team talk or speech or whatever. People are making a lot out of that.
Yeah. It was a rallying cry, really, and I think some of those speeches are important. Sometimes you need to let people understand that they represent something much bigger than themselves. I think sometimes footballers can get a bit carried away and think that everything is about them. This is not about you. This is about 30 million people. It's about your families. It's about the whole nation. And so when you go out there fighting, know that you're not just fighting for yourself. Know that there is a certain spirit behind you, and perhaps that reminder is needed every now and then. I think this is a game that we must win. Everybody knows that. I think the players know that. I don't think that if at this age the players need reminder that they have to win against Gabon to stand any chance, then they have no business being at the African Cup of Nations. And, the preparation hasn't, it has been good and I think that this is why I would say that Milovan Rajevac is being a very lucky man, because all like other teams that have been grappling with the effect of COVID-19 and having key players tested positive every now and then, from arrival till date, no single Ghanaian player has tested positive for COVID-19. So he's had all of them available. He has stated that his captain, Andre Ayew, is also back fit. He missed Wednesday's training because of the injury that he picked up, the head injury that he picked up in the game against Morocco. He has also stated that he wasn't even well when he was fielded against Morocco. He still lasted 90 minutes. I expect a few changes to be made. Rumors going around are that perhaps the coach has dropped Joseph Pencil and he's decided to bring in Daniel Tre as replacement. If that is true, that is quite interesting and perhaps a very surprising one. Because if any change would have to have been made, I did not expect that the player to sit on the bench would have been Joseph Tete. Joseph Pencil, sorry. I would have expected him to drop Captain Andre Ayew, mostly because he's not fit. He has not just not being fit, also because he said he's unwell.
Yeah.
So, Ayew can still contribute in this game without necessarily starting. That is my opinion. And I think that if you look at someone like Daniel Tre, I think for sure, if anybody had to come in, it had to be him. But I felt like if you look at his numbers in his club side and the way he has played, he looks at a player that is capable of replacing Andre Ayew.
Okay.
All right. You could still keep Joseph Pencil on that right-hand side. He showed glimpses of what he's capable of. He has an ability that most players in that team don't have, an ability to shoot from afar.
Okay.
He was the only one that forced a really good save from the Moroccan goalkeeper. You need players like that to take shots against the Gabonese. All right. So you are dropping another player. It shouldn't be Joseph Pencil. I don't think that his last performance was that bad. In fact, the last two games that he's played, in that friendly game against Algeria and that game against Morocco, he was arguably Ghana's best player.
Okay.
This is a tactical switch, all right? It's what the coach is telling us. It's a tactical switch. He's taking Jordan out to the right-hand side. He's taking Kamaldeen out to the left-hand side. But even if it's a tactical switch, we look at... I'm not exactly convinced, for example, that Andre Ayew, at the age in which he finds himself now, and the impact he had in the last game, that he is a player that should be starting every single game, especially when you look at the tactics that have been deployed by Milovan Rahivac. We all sat here last week and we spoke about what Milovan Rahivac's style is, and Daniel went on to extol what our game plan was, and our game plan was sit tight and try to catch them on the break. What is the number one ingredient of playing on the counter? Speed.
Yes.
Speed. Andre Ayew doesn't have it. So if he's one of those players that's going to play up front and we're going to depend on counter-attack, and it doesn't even matter the opposition. Look, every single game that Ghana has played, all right, under Milovan Rahivac, whether before, whether Rahivac 1.0 or Rahivac 2.0, bar the Zimbabwe game, I have not seen any game where Ghana has gone out and dominated.
Okay.
So that's not going to change against Gabon. Well, unless he's going to change that. But based on the football that he has played, if we're going to play on the counter-attack, I think that we need pacey players. Andre Ayew, for me, if he sits there and he watches the game, he's very intelligent. He can come off the bench and make an impact. It's like, if he's not fit, if he's unwell, it doesn't mean that he made time. It's not even good player. You look at his performance in the last game against Morocco. He only completed 10 successful passes in the entire 90 minutes. How do you play 90 minutes and only play 10 passes? Like, it makes no sense. He's basically jogging around. He's clearing. Yes, and the defensive stats and the numbers were good. But seriously, I would rather have Andre Ayew trying to score than having him at the back clearing chances and clearing set pieces. There are other players that should be mandated to do that.
Okay.
He should be liberated to try and score goals. At the moment, it doesn't look like the tactics favor him. That's my opinion. And I don't think that he's even got the pace and the physical state to be able to do it. So, I don't get it. I can understand why someone would keep Jordan on the bench.
Okay.
Because we saw Andy Adam against Morocco. Sorry, keep Jordan in the starting 11. Because we saw Jordan against Morocco. No, Andy Adam against Morocco. He was leaking because he had very little support. All right? Maybe that's why he's playing Jordan. Maybe he thinks that Jordan can track back and try to support him. But at the moment, Nathan, our biggest problem is goal scoring.
Okay.
Our Ghana's biggest problem is goal scoring. The last time Ghana won any game away from home in African qualifiers, it has to be against Zimbabwe.
Okay. That was Thomas Partey's free kick.
Yes. Apart from that, you have to go back 2017. So we just don't play very well away from home. And And now we have found ourselves in a similar situation where we've gone to Cameroon and we're struggling to win matches. At the moment, let's just score. And to score, based on the style that Milovan has deployed, I think that we need faster players. And I would be very disappointed if he benches Joseph Pinsel, because I feel like Joseph Pinsel, Kamal Dint, Daniel Tre, Jordan Ayew, if you play those four up top, we stand a very good chance of scoring.
Okay.
Based on the start.
Based on the start. All right. Daniel, what have you got to tell us? Are there things that are hidden? Are there things that we haven't picked up ahead of this game that maybe should give Ghanaian fans a bit of happiness, joy as the Black Stars take on Gabon?
Andrea Ayew is slow. Andrea doesn't fit the system, yet he's responsible for 50% of goals under Milo. Ghana's biggest problem is goal scoring, yet you want to remove the guy who scored half the goals your team has scored during the time Milo has been there. No, it's not going to happen. If Andrea is fit, he should start. And that is why he's an experienced player. That is why he knows his way around the football pitch. If you are playing, Milo has been playing counter-attacking football since he stepped into the shores of Ghana. And that's what I'm saying. If you are saying the system doesn't suit the guy, but the guy is getting half the goals you are scoring in that same system, then I don't think that statement is right. And if this is a game that you need to score goals, I think you have to have your best goal scorer on the pitch for the entire duration of the park, as long as he's fit enough to continue. And Andrea Ayew is by far the best goal scorer in the Black Stars team, so he will be the first name on my team sheet. Both teams, that's Ghana and Gabon, adopt a 4-2-3-1 system. Gabon are just a bit more attacking than the Black Stars.
Okay.
I've gone with a similar starting 11 to what we saw in the last game, but based on reports we had this week in training, it looked like Abdul Mumin was playing in the centre-back pairing with Daniel Amate. And I think that makes sense when it comes to playing the ball from the behind. Defenders who have the technical quality to find passes, and he's a bit better in that regard than Alexander Djiku. So I would understand if he's maintained or if he's brought into the starting lineup today. The biggest threat Ghana have to understand in this game is the guy in the middle, is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He can't score. You do not want to give him that freedom, because look, he's a top goal scorer. We know him. Even in the national team stats, his club stats, absolutely brilliant. So yes, this is how I expect Ghana to set up. I'm still in favor of Partey playing the holding midfield.
Okay.
Because you want a progressor. If you look on the Ghana bench, the Black Stars don't have a player who can bring the ball from transition from midfield to attack. So if you shift Partey up to the number 10 position and you bring in another midfielder, that is maybe Edmonado or Wakaso, if he's fit or not, it's going to be very difficult for the Black Stars to create opportunities, especially from deep. So this is where I feel Partey should play to have the best impact in the Black Stars. I've still maintained Joseph Pinsel because his performance, he was the best attacking player in the last game. I don't think the head coach will bench him.
Will you be surprised when, say, the starting 11 drops and Joseph Pinsel doesn't make it?
If Joseph Pinsel doesn't make it and maybe somebody like Fatau Ishahaku is in there for him, I will understand. But if he's dropped and aside as Fatau, I don't think anybody should come on for him. I also expect Andrea Ayew to make these forward runs. If he's playing, of course, and I'm very sure he's playing. Once the head coach has said he's fit, I'm sure he will start this game. I'm sure he will come up as a second striker, making those late runs into the box. His intelligence in the box, and in fact, his intelligence in and around the box is next to no one in the Black Stars team, and he has the experience to put the chances away when he has the chance. I want to focus on the threat that Gabon have and how it may worry the Black Stars of Ghana. In the last game, or pre-match before the Morocco game, we mentioned the fact that Milo doesn't necessarily like his fullbacks to be bumping forward and supporting the attack. And that is facts. If they are going to do that in this game, if they are going to maintain that is fullbacks not being allowed to bump forward, then they have to be 100% concentrated the entire time. Because Gabon play this system where they love to overload the middle and leave the wide men isolated and slip balls into them for them to cause damage. And that is where their strengths lie. If you give them the chance out wide, they can always find someone in the box. And they have a very technically gifted squad. You look at the guys on the wings, they are guys who can punish you. Both Buyanga and Lavinia are very good on the ball, and they can punish you at any moment in time. So if they are not, they can easily choose the option not to go for Aubameyang and maintain the ball on their feet, play a 1-2, and the ball is in the back of the net. So the concentration of the Ghanaian fullbacks, especially the space in between the fullback and the centre back, be it on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, needs to be at top level in the entire game. If you look at this, was their World Cup qualifier against Egypt. Ball comes in, look at the overload. He has about 5 to 10 yards of space. Ball is slipped into him. Of course, this didn't end up in a goal, but just shows you and highlights the threat that they have on that side. Another clip is coming where you see their strength lies on the wide area. So if you're able to cut off supply from the wide areas, then you are almost there in stopping them from getting goals. This was also their World Cup qualifier against Egypt somewhere in November. This is how that goal came. Ball was slipped in from the middle down to him. This was Alavinia, plays it inside, goal line scramble, and the ball ends up in the back of the net. So they rely heavily on their wide men for supply. Their creativity doesn't necessarily come from the middle. They usually go on the wide areas, and you have to get it right when you are playing them. You have to be concentrated. This was their last game, a World Cup qualifier against Libya. We see ball played in behind from midfield. You see the run right there from the winger. I think it's Alavinia again, right there, making that run. Defender is falling asleep. Ball is played into him into space. Unfortunately for him, doesn't control the ball well. But this just highlights their threat. So if Ghana, that is Babaraman and Mandiyadom, have to be on their D, they have to be very wary of the threat of the Gabonese. Because I feel if Babaraman and Diadom have a good day defensively, I think Ghana will be able to cut off supply for Gabon, and Gabon will be kept at bay. One weakness that Gabon team has, and which I think is very glaring, is their goalkeeper. Now, just to put this into context, he hasn't made an appearance for his team this season, Amazulu. They play in the South African League. So you see him here, no appearance whatsoever this season. 0 appearances, 0 minutes, 0 clean sheets. His last competitive game before the opening game against Comoros came in November when he was imposed for Gabon against Comoros. So it's an avenue where the Black Stars can counter. And if you look at Comoros and some of the mistakes he made, some of the dodgy decisions he made, you can tell this is a goalkeeper that is not full of rhythm. Look at him coming out of his box, almost touching the ball out of the 18 area, and that could easily have been a red card. There's another long range shot which came from Comoros, misjudged the flight of the ball. The fact that he saved it, but the technique used to save it, and that's where the problem is. He thought it wise to lean in and try and parry the ball, and that is very dangerous. Any goalkeeping coach will tell you this is extremely dangerous, because once the ball takes a bop or it moves, it could easily cause you problems. So I feel the Black Stars should try as many shots as possible in this game. Don't be afraid to shoot. The goalkeeper is not in rhythm. They are not the most compact team in Gabon. Of course, they like to play football, so then there will be spaces in there. And that's why I think Partey should be given more license to move forward. And you see, this is a tournament. It is not a league. So you don't necessarily see a philosophy run through the entire duration of the competition. You take it one game at a time. So expect teams to play in all sorts of different styles, and so it's something that the Black Stars can take advantage of, the weaknesses of the Gabon goalkeeper.
Will Mario Lamina fit to play?
Well, I mean, that's it. We are not sure yet, so I'm not going to put him in, but it still remains the same. If he's in, the instruction is from the middle. They usually go out wide, so you don't necessarily see his bumping runs through the middle. He's more of a stopper there, but it will make that midfield battle between himself and Thomas Partey even more interesting.
I was listening to the Gabonese pre-match press conference. It was done by the assistant coach Anisette Yala, coach Patrice Neveu. He's isolating due to COVID, right? Now, he talked about Aubameyang returning, said he was happy, all the others returning. I just get the sense that, and from his statements, I got the sense they were willing to play all the best hands that were readily available. So I think we should expect a very strong Gabonese team. Aubameyang possibly, Lemina possible, all the others, including Dennis Bwanga, Mupenza. So I get the sense their coach will try and put everything possible into the squad, and they give themselves try and give themselves an opportunity to make it to the round of 16.
To be honest with you, I honestly don't think that the Black Stars have any excuse not to beat Gabon. Like comfortably,
I mean, they do
like comfortably, and I'm not just.
Look, I don't think that is fair, because stylistically, if you look at the way these two teams play, it's just one of those things about football you cannot necessarily explain. Everybody else will be able to beat Gabon, but the way Ghana plays their football and the way Gabon plays their football is almost like they are the perfect antidote for the Black Stars. So I think this is probably
it's almost
going to
like
be
everybody's a perfect antidote for the Black Stars now, isn't it?
No, not necessarily. Because
I mean, they're struggling to win games. The last time Ghana beat a team ranked above them, I don't remember. You remind me.
Yeah, unfortunately, this head coach has not had the opportunity to play.
Not just the head coach, it's the team.
It's not. I don't think it's a team. I think we are blowing things out of proportion. Honestly, if
what is being blown out of proportion? The poor results.
No, the way we. What is poor results? 5 games, 5 competitive games, 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. Is that terrible?
That is terrible.
Okay.
This is the blast. You see,
if we were
and
so,
sometimes
so 5 competitive games, you expect 5 wins.
Sometimes you see,
and if you don't have 5 wins, then it's terrible.
We have a tendency to always mask poor performances with scrappy victories. The wins are there, but go into the details of the match. Anybody watching those games, you would know that the problems were coming. And I always tell people, I always say this like all the time: performances are indicators of what's to come.
Okay.
Against South Africa,
Gabon played well in their first match.
Gabon?
Do you think they played
well?
well?
No, they did not. And that's the point I was trying to make when Daniel interrupted me. Comoros were actually the better team. Anybody that watched that game for 90 minutes, Comoros were the better team. How does Comoros go? And I know that, like Daniel rightly said, yes, sometimes football doesn't make sense. But Comoros goes out there and completely outplays Gabon. Gabon gets 1 goal. Their goalkeeper is terrible. Then the Black Stars go there, and somebody wants to make me believe that the Gabonese team are the perfect antidote for the Black Star style of football. So who isn't an antidote for the Black Star style of football?
I disagree with Daniel, and I'll explain why right now.
Okay.
Because I compared our first games, and I got some stats. And if you look at these stats I'm about to bring, it's almost like it's the same 2 teams who are coming to play against each other. I mean, I don't see much difference, except maybe our pass accuracy was a bit better. We played 7% better. But look at this, for the most part, we are playing the same teams. I can even show you more stuff. So here is a chart done by Opta about our first games. And you can see we're in the same quadrant as Gabon. The only thing where we played is a bit slower. So, and I think we have better players. So if we are playing the same way and we have better players, I think we'll win the game. I don't think it should be that difficult. But maybe this is not a style of play you want. I agree with you in a certain sense. I feel like if we are going to be as direct, because when you look at our passes per sequence, it's the lowest in the tournament apart from Malawi. That's the only thing. If we are playing that far, we are playing that loose with the ball, we should be faster. That's the only thing I disagree with you. And I remember we talked about how Sierra Leone played so well against Algeria. Look at how high they are. That's a fast team. They move the ball faster than anyone else. So I can see what you're saying. But if we decide to go with a counter-attacking style, the only thing we need is more speed. Because as you can see on the speed thing, how fast we move the ball forward, we are near the bottom. So the only problem here is how fast we move the ball. I don't think the accuracy of our passing and how much we play the ball matters as much if we are going to move the ball fast. Once you move the ball fast and getting from end to end fast, like you said, we are trying to use pace. And maybe you might be right that Andre Ayew slows down the attack. But at the same time, like Daniel said, he's the one that scores. So how do we kind of fix this problem? But going back to Gabon, I don't think this is a team we should be scared of, because we have the model used by our friends at AfroStats to tell us that they expect us to get an XG difference of 1 in the game. We have a 54% chance of winning. The Gabonese have 16%. I like our odds because, look, these guys are using advanced mathematics. We don't, but all I'm saying is that looking at these 2 teams and how similar they play.
There's a reason why Ghana has 1.6 chance.
1.6 expected goals.
And I really wanted to see the expected whatever between Algeria and Sierra Leone. I also really wanted to see the one Senegal and Zimbabwe. No, we talk like football is a given. And you see, that's the thing. When we are analyzing teams minus Ghana. Everybody talks based on numbers.
Yeah, but when
Everybody
it comes
takes
to Ghana,
when
no.
it comes to Ghana, we talk with some expectancy. You don't expect to go. This is a tournament, for goodness sake. Gabon, and that's what Sutu is saying, and he says he disagrees with me, but he's actually buttressing my point. These are two teams that play similar kind of football. Two teams whose stats have mirrored each other. So why do you expect Ghana to blow Gabon apart? Why?
So you are expecting, if anything, you expect a slim win,
Yeah,
a
it's going
close
to be
game,
a tough game.
the tough encounter.
But I feel that the quality of Ghana will come to
Okay.
play. And it could easily be the other way around. Because look, we are talking about chances. And here Fent is talking about taking Andre Ayew out of the game. So imagine Milo listens to Fent, takes Andre Ayew out of the game. Ghana and Gabon both don't create a lot
And
of
then-
chances.
then-
Ball falls to Aubameyang. He banks
scores.
it. Ball falls to Daniel Tre.
He
He misses
misses.
it. We'll be here sitting and talking about what happens between Comoros and what if and what if and what if.
But
Okay.
you see, the other point is that I don't think it's really fair to assume that if a chance falls to Daniel Shaw, he's going to miss. He has shown it's the truth. He has shown. He has shown. His form.
But
What are the numbers as far as his form is concerned?
But
He's
for
in
the
the
Black
I-
Stars,
I
but
don't-
for the
I
Black
don't
Stars, to be
remember,
honest,
but when
Daniel
you
Tre
look-
has not been in that position where he has a golden opportunity to put the ball
He
away.
has. He has. South Africa. He had
Yes.
a one-on-one.
He had a
He
one-on-one.
blasted it over the bar.
So,
Yeah.
so that is
Yeah.
that is one chance, one opportunity. So clearly that tells us that maybe there's a bit of a problem in terms of his calmness, his mental state, his ability to finish.
There was another one against
high-profile
Ethiopia
chances.
where he
Sometimes
chose to
too.
pass instead of
Instead
shoot
of
because
shoot.
he's
You
afraid
see,
of
let me
goals.
tell you the truth. Let me tell you the truth. If you go back to that South Africa game and you look at that chance that Daniel Tre missed, Daniel Tre missed that chance because he was Daniel Tre. If it wasn't Daniel Tre and it was Andre Ayew, that chance wouldn't exist. You know why?
Why?
He showed pace to get past his marker. He was played through. Andre Ayew would be caught on his sprint towards
it's enough
goal.
to show pace, get them blasted over the bar.
But if you don't show pace, then you don't even get there in the first place.
Okay.
Basically, the point I think we all want the same thing. We want the Black Stars of Ghana to win.
Yes.
And we expect them to win. Daniel expects it to be tough. I expect it to be
relatively easy.
and that's fine. The expectations are different, but ultimately we need to win. But I think that the point Daniel has made about Ghanaians always expecting the Black Stars to, I think sometimes it's unfair for us to think that the fans are a bit unreasonable by trying to say that the Black Stars have to be flamboyant and they have to be relatively better than the opposition that they play. If the Black Stars come up against teams ranked above them, teams that are relatively better than them, that's okay for the game to be tough. If we had this conversation about Morocco, I think we're all on the same page that it would be an extremely difficult game of football. When the Black Stars come up against Gabon, and it really, and just to show the numbers, the history between the two teams, and it really doesn't matter that they have Aubameyang. Gabon are Gabon. They have not won a game at the AFCON since they last hosted the competition. So I'm saying that, and in the whole of this year, Gabon have 2 victories. So I'm just saying that when the Black Stars come up, 3 victories. When the Black Stars come up against Gabon in a 4-year, think about that. Let that sink in. In a 12-month stretch, a team has won 3 matches. They played probably about 20. So I'm saying that if you look at that, if you look at those numbers, you look at it from a very objective point of view, you can understand why the Ghanaian fans are very frustrated when people think that we should expect to go and face Gabon and admit that Gabon are a difficult team and they have the antidote to our style of football. What is that? So I think it's a sad reality where the Black Stars, I think we all have to just admit, I guess, that the Black Stars are an extremely... Hold on.
The Black Stars aren't playing.
The Black Stars...
They are not at the same height as they were, say, in 2008 or 2010, whatever. I agree, and I completely understand. I'm sure, Daniel, you also understand this team.
So that's why I'm saying
this
that.
team is getting back.
So the
it's
fans
trying
have
to
a
build
right
its
to
way
be
back.
frustrated. That's all I'm
As for
saying.
being
So when people make
I
the point
think
that
fans, I
Yes.
think the fans, look, fans, you know how fans are. Fans will swing this way, that way, all of that. So far, so fan reaction, I completely understand. Okay, and I also understand Daniel's point when he says that when you analyze this team, and I think the point we'll ultimately get to is a point of coaching. I think that Milo Van Rijvert can look at this team, fashion out a plan, get Ghana 3 points today, possibly another 3 in a few days, and then you build your way from there.
Look, Nathan, I don't, and this is building on to the point I started earlier. Before the competition, we all had the opportunity to share our views.
Yes.
And most of the people
They didn't believe.
They didn't believe in the Black Stars. You were looking at previous games, previous performances. So why is it that all of a sudden, when it comes to the competition, you expect Mike Lassian and Stephen Appiah results? When you admitted to yourself a couple of weeks earlier that this team is not there, this team doesn't have the quality, especially in midfield, to be able to go out and dominate teams and play the sort of football you want.
Yeah.
So where is the correlation? Where is the balance? You said it, admitted to yourself that the squad,
Who
when
did?
you saw it, I'm talking to him.
Oh, you're talking to friends.
When he looked at the squad, he admitted to himself that this is one of the poorest teams you send to an AFCON. This team will need time to build. So why is it that when you get to the competition, after a first game against Morocco, a team you expected Ghana to lose to, you are going to face Gabon. You expect, it's like, it's not Michael Essien and Samoa Gyan and Appiah who are come to play
what is
the game to
wrong
win
in
4-5-0.
expecting? No, but what's wrong in expecting Ghana to lose to Morocco, the top-ranked team on the African continent, the second top-ranked team on the African continent, and expecting them to beat Gabon, who are ranked, I think, like 30 places below Ghana? What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with expecting Ghana to lose to Morocco.
Yes.
But when Ghana loses to Morocco in the manner that they did, and all you see is negative, when you already expected a victory, but it took an 82nd minute mistake for Morocco to be able to beat Ghana, leading up to the game against Gabon, and all you are looking at is the downsides and the quote-unquote negatives of the previous game, then it's not fair. And then you go on to say you expect it to be an easy game. Have you seen an easy game in this competition apart from yesterday's Cameroon and Ethiopia game? No. So it's a bit unfair.
Okay. Susu?
I have to slightly disagree with Daniel on that, because while he's making a fair point that that's not a game we're expected to win, we shouldn't look at just the negative. We should also be able to fairly criticize certain aspects of the performance, which I think Fent is trying to do. So I think that there's certain things we did in that game which we didn't do well. So I'll just show you a pass map here. We barely got the ball into the box ever. Like, the ball was not entering the box. We didn't create enough chances. So that was a problem that I feel like we need to fix. Maybe playing an easier team in Gabon, we'll be able to get the ball into the box, maybe create some more chance, because this was very poor. If you look at this, the fact that we're not getting the ball into the box.
Explain to us what we are seeing on the screen are Ghana's passes.
Ghana's completed passes.
Ghana's completed passes.
So if you can see, the ball
and Ghana's
entered the box.
attacking area is where? To the right of the screen or left?
To the left. So you can see only 4 balls entered our box. So on the left side, where it's almost like, you can see there's almost like a hole, kind of like a U-shaped hole.
Right.
It's almost like as we're getting towards the Morocco area, we ain't getting it.
You see, Susu understood. But when I was standing there, I made a point. This is a tournament. It's not a league. So you are not going to see the same style of football from one team.
It will change from...
It will change. The approach you use against Morocco will obviously be different from the approach you use against... If Malawi is going to face Comoros, do you think they will play the same way when they meet Algeria? No. You watch Sierra Leone in their next game. They are obviously not going to sit back against a team that they think they can go toe-to-toe with. So why you... Never mind. We will come back on Monday.
So Ghana will have to win. I think it's not negotiable. And there's nothing.
But it's very unfair.
And there's nothing wrong.
Why should it be easy?
There's nothing wrong with. But I think.
Okay, Dana, let me ask you this: when should this game say end 3-0 Ghana? They absolutely dominate Gabon. Will you be surprised if something like that happens?
I'll be very, very pleasantly surprised.
Why?
Why? Because I've explained it. These are two very similar teams. And you see, when you are analyzing football, don't analyze it in a void. The other team are not sleeping, waiting for you to come and play your football and then blow them away. They're also doing their work.
Yes.
And Gabon are also a very well-coached team.
Yes.
They have quality. So what they are going to do is to do the best to get the quality out of the players they have. True. And I spoke about the wide areas. If you look at Bouyange and Alivinia, these guys technical. Look at the trouble they gave Egypt in the World Cup qualifiers.
Yes.
And Egypt are no mean team. They gave them problems. So clearly they'll look at Ghana's team, identify weak areas, and then also counter. So then it's like chess. So if we win it 3-0, it will probably mean that either our quality came to be, or Milo was just a tactical masterclass and blew them out of the way. But don't say it should be easy. The only game you can come and say it should be easy and it will be easy is Cameroon and Ethiopia. That's when you can come and say it's going to be easy. And then it will be easy at the end of the day. But Ghana, Gabon are a bit too closely matched in terms of recent performances and style of
For
play.
us to expect,
for you to say
so for pass this test 1-0, that's points on the board.
Were Senegal crying when they beat Zimbabwe 1-0?
Okay, all right.
I just want to make
What were your expectations when Zimbabwe were coming up against Senegal?
They will lose. Did they lose?
They lost.
They lost. You see, was it easy? It wasn't, but everyone expected it to be easy.
Yeah,
wasn't
but they
it?
got 3 points. Are they going to say 3
You see,
points?
so no,
into
I need you
brackets
to be
easy game?
consistent.
No.
To say that there are matches where you expect it to be easy,
No.
and it doesn't turn
You see,
out to be easy. It doesn't mean
My
that it
point
wasn't
is,
supposed to
don't-
be easy.
Even if Ghana wins 1-0,
We shouldn't.
3 points is 3. Are they going to do 3 points into brackets easy game? 3 points into brackets, you had it difficult. So because you had it difficult, they'll take -2 and you don't qualify. No,
I think that is.
Okay, all right,
I think that is over.
fine.
You're being
You-
overly simplistic.
let me
with
say
that.
hold on,
It's
hold
not.
on.
It's not. You see,
You hold
nobody
on.
has said
I have-
that an easy 3 points is better than a difficult 3 points. That's not what anybody is saying.
Mm-hmm.
The point I am making is that with this team under Milo, there were a lot of shortcomings in their performance against Morocco.
Yes.
And that
They've
the
had-
team.
I'm sure they've had time
hold
to
on, yes,
watch
and that the team needs to improve, and that when they come up against Gabon, it is an opportunity for the Black Stars of Ghana
To show those improvements.
Yes, and let us see. And if they show that, you see, that's the point. If they show that they have improved from the game against Morocco,
Yes.
we will see a significantly better performance.
Let me ask you
just wanna ask
that.
If Ghana plays,
So we outplayed
dominates
Gabon and we don't
Gabon,
win.
and the game ends 1-1, will you be happy?
Of course not.
If we play the way we played against Morocco and win 2-0, will you be happy?
Yes, I'll be happy because the way we
you
played,
can
but
end
you
the
see,
show now.
but the way we played
Okay,
against
I
Morocco,
think-
the difference would be that we
I'm
played
done.
better because we were able to
I'm
score.
done.
No, that's true.
2-0 is a win.
Because we were able to score 2 goals.
Okay, all right. Let me.
That would be a significant improvement. The way we played against Morocco, we couldn't score.
I don't
If
think
we
it
play
really
like that and we
matters
scored 2,
how you play.
we
You
have
take
been
it like
better.
that.
Is that simple?
Okay, all right. Okay, well, I think we are done. Interesting stuff there. But the Black Stars will play at 7 p.m. That's what's happening there. But on radio at 9, we'll have a special edition of Sports Panorama reviewing the game at 9 p.m. So join us then. But all the matches are on Morocco, Comoros, Ghana, Gabon. Senegal will also play as well. And Malawi will also be in action in the AFCON. Thanks to the guys, Susu, Daniel, and Feng. Thanks to you out there for your messages. It's been a very heated edition of the AFCON Daily Show. We are back on Monday to run the rule over everything that will happen tonight and through the weekend. And then we look ahead to another round of group matches in the AFCON 2021 tournament in Cameroon. We'll catch you then. Have a super weekend. Take care and bye-bye.